What is up, geeks and gamers? It's your boy Q
and QMG.
Bring you guys into the Quniverse where we talk to you guys about everything geeky, gamey, and nerdy. And another beautiful Sunday, QMG. You doing all right?
Yeah.
Even though you put your hands on me, but we ain't gonna talk.
I did not.
So I'll put my hands on you.
Yes.
Tragic. We ain't gonna talk about that. That's our real stuff. Thank y'all for tuning in. Another great episode. Yes. Into the Quniverse. Factual, and you already know we got to turn up a little bit, how we always do. Can we get a couple jams in here? Let's get it. Go ahead, turn it on up.
Back that bitch up, man.
Into the Quniverse. We got a great episode for y'all. Yeah, I like that. Let that be right. So we got a great episode. We're going to be talking about some Loki episode 4 and 5 and where they're going with it. Who's the big bad? We're going to be talking a little bit about some canceled shows. One of the ones that hurt me is Lovecraft Country. We just found out that was canceled. We're going to be talking about a couple things. The What If trailer for Marvel's What If came out. We're going to be talking about some of our theories for that. And I just think whatever comes down the pipeline, great show. You ready, QMG?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to let that beat ride for a minute. Go ahead, turn up. Let me know how y'all doing in the comments, man. Got my boy sending out all them notes. Yeah, let them know what's going on. Into the Quniverse.
I'm not doing that.
Oh.
You just, first of all, is my mic on? Because I can't hear myself.
I don't know why you can't hear yourself, because you're on, buddy. You're on, big dog.
I'll just take your word for it.
Oh, no, I can hear you. And your levels are right there. Anyway, another great day in the world of geeky gaminess. Geeky gaminess, is that a word? Geeky gaminess?
I guess.
I made it up. But yeah, so QMG, I know a lot of times we talk crap, man. Sometimes you talk crap about Marvel, but I know you were kind of critical on Loki because Loki has had episode 5. Episode 6 will be coming out Wednesday, which is the last episode of the series. And I know you were probably kind of critical of the first 3 episodes, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts on 4 and 5. I know we talked a lot about it off camera, but I definitely want to know your thoughts and how you've been feeling about Loki as a whole. Some of the story beats has been taken and some of the theories you got, even some of the undertones about Loki and himself, learning himself and loving himself more. So how do you feel about Loki as a whole so far, or just 4 and 5?
It's all right. I mean, I like the last 2 episodes more so than anything else beforehand.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's like groundbreaking. It did pick up in the story department, but you know, nothing really groundbreaking, nothing really that is just blew my mind. So that's kind of where I am on that. So, you know, I'm glad to see that they finally are taking risks with the show by introducing, you know, the concept of Loki and his variant counterpart Sylvie. It's looking like there's a relationship there that's a little bit more so than what meets the eye, and it plays into his motivation and his just general sense of, what's the word I'm looking for? Survival. The general sense of survival. Yeah. That he's normally so quick to, you know, put himself first, and then in a weird twist of fate, he is putting himself first. The way he is, the way he's going for Sylvie, going up for Sylvie, you know, towards the end, you know, once they get saved and they escape the planet that's about to blow up, because for those who haven't caught up or anything, spoilers going in, but you know, they go to this planet that's doomed because they hide in Apocalypse, because that's a glitch in the TVA system. They can't find it, they can't experience, they can't find anybody in the time discrepancies, because in an apocalypse it doesn't matter because everybody's going to die, so they don't it's nothing that's going to pop up. And so, you know, they go to this super apocalypse that you can't escape from. And, you know, through trials and tribulations, it looks like they're going to escape.
Yeah, facts.
And then they don't. And you know, why at the end when they're having a heart to heart and it looks like they're a meeting of the minds, they trigger a super duper event that the TVA is able to find them and then bring them back there.
Yeah.
And that's when the proverbial curtain is starting to get pulled back, because then, you know, Loki is now hip to it. He's now able to tell Mobius, Owen Wilson's character, that everyone at the TVA are variants. They've been plucked from the time stream in order to do the timekeeper's bidding, which...
So, like, but how do you feel about it, though? Like, how do you feel about it? Like, does it, like, is it intriguing? Do you, like, is it something that you could see yourself diving more into after the series is over? Some of the undertones, some of the theory, some of the thoughts that they were trying to introduce in this, even some of the, just like I said, the undertones are pretty significant, I think, like loving yourself and stuff like that. How do you feel about some of those things that they tried to implement into the show?
No, I don't think that I will go back to it, because again, with most of these MCU shows, they're very straight to the point and have very little rewatch value. If I'm gonna be honest with you, some of the best things about shows, television shows, period, is your ability to rewatch it. Some things that stay with you and where they go moving forward. Not every season or series has that, but you know, these type of ones, I do expect them to have that. And right now, nothing really. I might watch a scene or two on YouTube, but there's no real episodes where I want to just go back and watch it all the way through over again. That to me is just a little bit too much.
So just to lighten it up a little bit here, who is the best cast, or who has the best design as a Loki variant? Which one was your favorite that you've seen so far?
I like all of them. I like all of them, but you know, obviously, if I had to choose, it'd be Sylvie.
I knew you were gonna say
because she just had the most screen time. And
old man Loki.
No, I mean, just because he showed up and he had some good lines.
I was talking about character design as like the OG Loki costume.
No. I mean, it's still just
Sylvie's costume wasn't even just all that crazy, like outlandishly cool.
True, but I still something that I'm still not crazy about that type of MCU. Just making a classic costume a Halloween costume. I'm not.
Well, they didn't do that in this one. That was his costume.
No, but it's meant to invoke that of the comic book, obviously, and they didn't put no effort into making it look anything other than a Halloween costume. Yeah. I mean, that's still something I have a problem with. It just seems like you can make a classic costume look cool, and you don't have to just do a word for word classic costume just to get.
So did they or did they not back in the day look cheap?
I mean, but it's not about
to the standards of now.
But I think that's not really the point if they look cheap or not, because everything looks cheap back in the day.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's like, then just make it look not cheap.
And that's the word of the day, gang. Make it look not cheap. Factual. So the undertone of Loki is seeming to be loving thyself. For like you just said, Sylvie is also a variant of Loki. How do you feel about that message being sent out? Loving thyself. Is it a message you could get behind that, or do you feel like it was no reason for them to go that route with a variant relationship?
I'm always on board for loving the message of loving yourself and everything, and I'm always for that. That is that's always a good message, because that's something the peeps should do, is to love yourself, be there for yourself, etc. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. There ain't nothing wrong with that with preaching that, you know. It's just, I mean, folks always.
Yeah, I know a lot of folks that's loving themselves.
I mean, folks always try to make something weird where it's just take it as it is. Like it's literally.
Yeah, I can understand that, but at the same time,
it's you're watching a superhero show. What the like is like my philosophy?
Well, you can't really say that now because there's such a diverse cast of superhero shows that tackle a lot of different subjects.
That's my point. That's my point exactly. It's just that people keep trying to. If it's by the numbers are born, then they're gonna complain about it. But then when they do something that not saying, I mean, even for it is an MCU product, so it's still not nearly enough that, it could do, even not even from any like real world standpoint, but just from a creative standpoint. But even then, that whole thing of, loving himself because he's Loki, because he obviously loves himself on a superficial level because he's about self-preservation and
every Loki is,
and getting the last laugh and surviving by any means. So he loves himself in that regard. But then when you take it to a metaphysical level where you're meeting yourself and you're seeing different things in you and vice versa, that's a nice, I mean, because at the end of the day, that's what superheroes are. They're metaphors anyway. So, I think that is the lesson that you're learning from it, that it's always best to love yourself.
Love yourself first, everybody. Remember that. You heard it here on Into the Quniverse. Love thyself.
Yeah.
Facts. You gotta
let us know in the comments what you guys think.
How many times do y'all love y'all? But no, in all fun seriousness. So, do you think they just scrapped the whole Enchantress route? Do you think she's gonna become the Enchantress, or you just think they scrapped that whole route? Because it seemed like they were leaning towards that with the enchantment and her name being Sylvie, but it's seeming like they're going almost literally just scrapping that whole route within the show.
No, they're not scrapping anything. That's literally who she is. She's Enchant, and they keep focusing on that. And she's not Loki. She's obviously not that, because they established that that's not, she doesn't.
Well, they have referred to her as a Loki multiple times.
But think about who's saying, just because.
And she also referred herself to as a variant of Loki.
That was very early on, but now that they've established
it was the scene when they were sitting on the log before they were sitting before.
But that was more. But that was more wistful, not a self-proclamation, but more of a wistful of the situation.
Said, are we as Loki's destined to lose?
But that was a wistful. That's not your take. Again, face value versus what it's actually saying. Well, just because she says that literally doesn't mean that that's the point that she's trying to get across. What she's trying to get across is that if people like them meant to lose, but in the larger sense of who she actually is, she's not just a Loki. She's Sylvie.
Well, obviously, yeah, but she still is a variant of Loki.
I mean, no. I mean, when you say obviously, yeah, then that's the point. There's no other point to be made.
She's literally a variant
because
of Loki.
That don't
literally born by the false giants. Literally,
we don't know any of that. Actually, we don't know any of the specifics on her origin. We just know that they considered her a variant of Loki. But
we have no other instances where a variant wasn't the variant of the character.
No, but you're not. But the specifics can be different. There can be that alligator clearly was in the game.
He definitely was a variant of Loki.
No, what I was going to say was that he wasn't a frost giant. He was very clearly an alligator.
How do we not know that he wasn't a frost giant that got turned into an alligator?
But we don't know anything. All we can know is that what they present us with. We can't say anything other than that.
Let us know in the comments, Geeks and Gamers. Do y'all think Sylvie is a true variant of Loki, or do you think she has no ties to Loki except that she was on Asgard and they declared her Loki? I think she's a Loki.
No, it's not. That's not what I said. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, tell me what you're saying.
I'm saying that it don't make it. What I'm saying is that
it doesn't matter now that she chooses to be someone else.
Yes, that's exactly my point. It don't matter. It doesn't matter what came before.
So that means I could be Nelson Mandela.
That's a completely different thing entirely. It's
how?
Because you're not, because it's not, that's not how that.
Or can I just say my name is Max Power and go around and saying, writing on everything and signing everything is Max Power, and that stops me from being Quentin Ziegler?
If you legally do that.
No, we're not talking about legally.
Yes,
because
you're
didn't legally do anything.
Quentin, she's a god alien in a superhero television
As
show.
we've seen, gods and aliens, it don't matter.
No, but there's
always someone bigger and better.
About real life shit. Not television shit. In real life, you can't.
Because we're just talking. I'm saying
within the parameters of her situation and your situation, obviously you can't literally do what she do to self-proclaim what she's self-proclaiming. She has no barrier of anything stopping her. She has no laws she answers to. She has no
See, when you put it like that, that makes more. That makes sense.
I mean, that's the obvious course of action.
That makes
you
sense.
can't just do what some superhero character do. You gotta.
I'm talking about. It makes sense that she can do that due to the parameters that there's no governing body. Yeah, fact.
Yeah,
except the TVA.
But they're a bunch of heretics anyway because they're doing shit that they're actually not deemed to do. That there's machinations.
So what if but if they all feel like they're doing the right thing, how does that make them heretics?
Because it doesn't matter if you think it's if you are.
But if they're not governed by anybody or the laws of anybody else, that means they make the reality, right?
No, because we just not know making.
Because we just said Sylvie, due to the parameters that she's not governed under, she could change her identity.
There's a difference between
but the TVA isn't governed by anybody.
No, but they're governing everyone. That's the difference. You're mixing metaphors. Sylvie is in control of herself because that's her life. The TVA are trying to control every living individual's life and control their thing. So that's a complete
but they are doing it though,
and that's wrong. It's been established multiple times over that not only is it wrong, there is no universal decree that they should do.
Well, I thought you said you wanted to be a dictator. Remember that one time?
No. I didn't. My point being is that they're heretics because they are because they are literally tampering with the natural flow of the universe, which means that the universe flows however it decides to flow. If something happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But it's not indicative of anybody it's like saying, oh, I'm the king of water because I can put it in a bottle and give it to folks. But obviously
I will be remiss to say I'm pretty sure some people think that
it don't matter what it don't matter what they
next thing they got oxygen bars.
The Rock said it perfectly. It doesn't matter what you think.
Doesn't matter what
it's what is and what isn't. Nobody TVA is what is like these is like these oil companies and like the people you just named, thinking that they own the concept of these universal things that exist elsewhere and will outlive all of us. And they're taking it to a situation where they're proclaiming some divine entity has given them the right to do or don't do, like the damn Crusades back in the 1600s. Well, they were proclaiming God told them to conquer and kill all these people, and God didn't tell them to do
just the simple fact though that we could have this very intricate debate about a lot of things that they're implementing in Loki. I just don't understand how you could say it's not that interesting because they're putting a lot of
the only reason I did that was because you was not picking up what I was putting down, so I had to explain further. I mean,
still that's interesting.
No, it's not, because in all honesty, it's only interesting because I'm
no, you ain't made, but you're not making it.
No, I'm not saying I'm making it interesting. I'm saying this particular thing interests me, but the reason I say it doesn't matter is because this is not the focal point of the show. Or else they would be saying all of the things.
TVA is definitely a focal point of the show, and they're governing over the sacred timeline.
But not for the reasons I said it. That's stuff that they say in the same sentence with no.
So what is the purpose of the show?
Not in your eyes. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not the purpose of the show. I'm saying it's not it's not what the show wants you to focus on. It's the reason why the characters do what they do, yes, but the real problem, the core of the problem, is the internal and now metaphysical struggle of what it means to be Loki. That is the crux of it. That's what's guiding them. Mm-hmm. Sure, the TVA is a means to an end, but it's not real. If Loki didn't find out about this shit, or anything, if there was any chance Loki had an upper hand and whatnot, he wouldn't care as much about that. If he never met Sylvie, he would probably still rock with the TVA, find out this stuff himself, and take a completely different path. That's all. Like, the perfect scene that encapsulates it is in episode 5 when he gives the pad back to Mobius, because he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna risk even a fleeting thought of me betraying Sylvie right here at the finish line, so I'm just gonna go with her, and whatever happens. So it's still that level of self-preservation there, and that's where the focal point is. The TVA is just the entity that gets them to the realization point of whatever it is that it is. And
I don't think it's just that, because the TVA definitely has a very major role. If you look at Mobius's arc and the blind belief in religion and all that, it's very in depth, and I don't think it's just about Loki finding his own self-worth and his self-love, because if you just take that, if you take Loki and just have Mobius going about his arc and finding out that everything, blindly following a cause and just allowing whatever to happen, but sometimes that could be detrimental to your health.
That's a smaller point. It's not. I'm not saying the point don't exist, but it's not important enough. Is just compare it to all the time spent on that versus the time spent on what Loki's talking about. That's how you can tell what is and which one of those is and isn't important. When you look at the Mobius stuff, he literally realized it, and then he got pruned. And then the next time we see him, he only shows up to get Sylvie from where she's at to Loki. And then he basically reiterates the point that he established when he found out everything.
Now, you understand we've only seen 5 episodes. It's only 6.
Yeah.
The first 2 episodes were literally Loki questioning the TVA and why Mobius blindly follows. But episode 3,
that is true that he did that, but how significant were those conversations, and how far along was Mobius?
I thought,
and because we forget that Mobius was barely in episode 3, if at all, and when he was there, it was, if I'm not mistaken, I may be thinking of episode 4. It was like, where's Loki? He really, truthfully, didn't start questioning everything, because at the beginning he was just taking a chance on Loki because
till episode 4, that's when he started questioning.
Yeah, and he got pruned in that very same episode.
Before that, it was like a dichotomy of both sides, because he was like, okay, I'm here. This is what I've been told. This is what I believe.
Yeah, but it was
blindly, and then it gets flipped on its head in episode 4. So I don't think it was very minor. I just think the subtlety of it, just the planting of the seeds of doubt.
But it wasn't really subtle, because they were very clear with what they were trying to present to you.
Yeah, exactly. So but it wasn't just like.
Subtlety would be if Mobius, if when we're introduced to Mobius, he was having doubts, and all Loki said to him was reinforcing those doubts. And then there was something that
they did have a couple of those scenes where it was subtlety of planting seeds, when he went to go talk to Renslayer for the first time, and they were talking about.
First of all, it's Ravonna. It's not Renslayer. It's Ravonna. It's Ravonna.
He said Renslayer in the show.
That's her last name, but it's
why
Ravonna.
I can't call her Renslayer?
Because Ravonna is the more important name, and I'll get to that.
Why? But I can call her Renslayer. She's still Renslayer.
Because if something happens in episode 6, I don't want to hear people talking about, well, I didn't see that coming. Yes,
well, Owen Wilson literally called her Renslayer in the show. I don't care
what he's calling her.
So until that happens, I'm gonna call her Renslayer.
But if that tells me you weren't paying attention to the show, because he's also called
Ravonna. I know, but I choose to call her Renslayer. She has 2 names. If I call you Greer, that's okay, because it's your last name. So usually on a job or a boss will call you by your last name.
Yeah, but my point is that the more important name is what you should be focusing on.
Well, that's not what I'm focusing on.
Neither here nor
exactly.
there.
I digress.
My point is that none of that stuff was.
Hold on, I was saying something. But you're gonna say my point,
because I was the one. I wasn't even finished making my original point before you jumped in. My original.
Let me just zoom in. Hold on. First of all, hold on. Can we get a round of applause? Because every time that boy come in swaggy, I gotta zoom in. Look at that boy's shirt. Wakanda forever. Yeah, Black Panther.
It tilted up anyway.
Oh, hold on. I got you, bro. My fault. Swagger P.
I wasn't saying that to do that. No, what I'm saying is that the subtlety of the TVA being heretics is not existent, because every time the TVA's machinations was presented, it was always presented like it's going to be a plot point. It's not to call it subtle would to be to say, oh, the TVA's concept is so in the background that you're not focusing on it until you start paying attention to the little pieces that they drop here and there.
And that's what I was going into with Renslayer.
But she was very upfront with.
No, I'm talking about the subtlety of planting the seeds to the viewer, not just Mobius, but the viewer, as far as the trophies that have acquired that he didn't remember, as a saying that they have erased memories before, as well as all the rings from the drinks, saying that maybe multiple times Mobius has, with his character arc, found out and been reset, or his mind has been reset.
No, but they don't do that in the TV. They don't reset minds. They prune you. It's very upfront what they do. They prune you.
Well,
prune when you find if you are proved to be dangerous. Not
if there is a way that, because we know Ravonna Renslayer has something for him, and obviously she pruned him when it was literally at a dire moment.
No,
with the variant.
it's just the fact that they had a friendly rapport, and she pruned him when it looked like he was talking heresy to the TVA, which was the protocol.
Well, I think Renslayer, if she could have avoided pruning him, she would have.
No, because she could have avoided pruning old girl, and she pruned her.
Well, old girl was talking that, like I said, that stuff.
Yeah, but she could have easily just locked her away and rehabilitate her like they did Loki. Like if we're talking about mind control, which they never presented, they could have.
Well, they obviously have some level of mind control and some level of mind wiping abilities because the variants don't know their variants at all. Period.
No.
Yes. Every time we know for a fact that they grab variants from different times in the timeline. It's not when they're a baby, not when they're first born, they've grabbed variants all through. So they have to have some type of mind wiping abilities to grab these variants, and they don't remember nothing about their past life. They have to.
We'll see. I mean, but that begs, then you just open the plot hole. Like if they can do that, then what is the point of pruning in the first place? If you can just reset somebody's mind, why prune them in the first place and put them in a position where they can be disintegrated and wiped from history?
Now, maybe there might be a level of what's the word I'm looking for? Dangerous variants. Maybe they could see a certain level of variant, like the Loki variants are so dangerous that there is no way that you can keep them. But after Sylvie, but
Mobius isn't dangerous. Oh, girl, and they're just
until they start speaking heresy against the heresy.
But if you can erase who they were or anything like that.
What if it's like in a contained mode? Like, say it's a group of us, right? And I say something that'll get me killed, but if I say it to you, you can erase my mind and nobody will hear it. Because if I plant those seeds to the group, now the group has seeds planted.
No, that don't work, because then if that's the case, then they would have realized what she was doing the whole time. She would have known that the people that was running into the TVA were enchanted or whatnot with that whole situation. So I'm gonna tell you what I think it was gonna happen, and pretty sure I'm right about it, is that when they create branches, and before that happens, they manufacture, they find individuals or like irrespective or like very good individuals, and they create these branches, and right as it's created, they pluck them out, they pluck these new variants out, and they're just completely brand new to the entire existence, and they just have them work for the TVA. No mind wiping or anything like that. And the reason why they have memories is not the variant's memories. It's the memories of the person they're a variant of. So that explains why they have memories, but they can't access them.
I think that's a little too convoluted for
what
Marvel
you mean?
to do.
It's a time travel story about doppelgangers, alternate realities. True. And super secret police that are being governed by somebody.
Just so like far there's certain things that you don't think Marvel is going to think too in depth about. I don't think
I actually think it's so convoluted that Marvel would do it and then play it for a laugh.
I just think that they're mind wiped.
I mean, but that'd be a plot hole. That would be a gigantic plot hole that would make the whole
Marvel's not prone to never having plot holes.
But this is a plot hole that basically it's like the Jenga piece that ruins the series, because if it's mind control, then what's the whole concept of pruning in the first place? So because obviously if you can get Infinity Stones and stuff like that, there's a level of power to your group. And secondly, if you can metaphorically or literally mind control somebody to do what you want, then that means you can do that to every freaking Loki you come across and not even have an issue, or anybody. Really?
So with that being said, another big question about is the timekeepers. Obviously, they draw parallels to the Wizard of Oz, the big the man behind the curtain. But I gotta and I don't know how I feel about timekeepers being red herrings. I kind of felt like they were going to be red herrings to begin with.
Heretics often are
heretic leaders, but yeah. I don't know how I feel about that. I wish they could have been real or behind the backstage. Now we don't know. Episode 6 is coming out Wednesday, so there might be a change in that. We might actually see that the timekeepers are real, just in a different form than we are accustomed to from the comic books. You know, Marvel is good at switching things. Well, not good. They're good for switching things up. I'm not saying good at, but they're good for switching things up. So we might actually see the timekeepers. Somebody might even be controlling the timekeepers using their energy or using their power and having them held captive. So we might see something like that. But QMG, the timekeepers, do you think that we'll see the timekeepers in any capacity, or do you think there's somebody controlling all this space and time and the timekeepers are non-existent?
Yes, the timekeepers are non-existent. I figured that from the jump street, but I am 99% certain we're going to be introduced to Kang, and 1% certain it is a Loki that is doing it. But again,
really?
But again,
I've seen some theories about that. You really think it's about evil Loki that's doing this?
Like a 1%, if not lesser than that. I think that I think that Kang will show up, whether it's he is that person or a post-credit scene, because for those who don't know, the reason I keep focusing on Ravonna as the important name
Renslayer,
because that is the name of his wife. His wife is Ravonna, and that is the impetus for a lot of Kang's earliest exploits in the Marvel universe. And more specifically, that tower, the Stark Tower, Avengers Tower in episode 5 was named Kang, which is what Kang the Conqueror called Stark Tower when he bought it in one of his futures, which is a pseudonym for Kang, obviously. And yeah, I feel like that is what it is. I think that lends credence, and also something which leads me to believe that is Kang, and why I say it's not mind controlled and rather than being created is because Kang creates clones a lot of himself, of his prodigies, etc. And so I wouldn't be surprised if, again, that he's doing some sort of cloning type deal to create these individuals who are these outstanding or respective people in these timelines and making the TVA out of them. Or maybe they're unremarkable people and doing the same thing, but I think that is why the TVA exists and everything like that. And he's trying, and this is his way of controlling everything.
So the real question is that everybody's been wondering and everybody's been asking, do you think Owen Wilson will drive a jet ski in Loki?
I can definitely see the MCU. I can definitely see the MCU doing that whole, we're giving this one character what they exactly want and have him ride a jet ski.
Wow, you got to do the Owen Wilson wow. Just give him one.
No, he said he's not doing it in Loki, so it's no point.
You got to just give me one. Give me one Owen Wilson wow.
Wow.
Factual. Owen Wilson, that's my guy.
But yeah,
that might be a red herring, because a lot of people have been red herring in the MCU. I'm not gonna do this. Then by the end of the series, they do it. I could see Owen Wilson on top of jet ski. Wow, just turn it up.
I don't know. I mean, with these MCU shows, they've been real cut and dry with what they present. So there is no reason to believe that they won't do the literal thing that they said they're going to do. It's the subtle things you think they're going to do that you got to watch out for. That's the ones they don't come through on.
So would you tell people so far Loki is a must watch?
No, I would not say it's a must watch. I'd say that if you are a fan of Loki and you want something to watch on TV that's superhero related and is better than other offerings, then watch Loki, but you don't have to watch Loki. I don't even think it's going to be that important I know for a fact it's not going to be that important to the overall multiverse time travel arc, because we know that Marvel already said that it's more so what happens in Far From Home and Multiverse of Madness that does it, and less of what happens in Loki. So even then, like, again, unless Kang shows up in the season finale, which again, YouTube probably got y'all back on that one.
You already know.
I mean, you don't have to watch this. A lot. If you like Tom Hiddleston's Loki, this show doesn't do anything to change your opinion on it in either extremes. Yeah. And if you don't like his Loki, again, it doesn't change your opinion in either extremes. It's just
I kind of agree with you on that, because they didn't really stretch the character like I thought they were going to do in this show. They really did not stretch his character dynamic. So I kind of agree with you on that.
Yeah,
like, never like, the spectrum's not going to tilt either too much either way. Like, they didn't really just dive deep into his past or anything like that and really stretch him out. So.
Yeah, it's just literally, the show is literally just, it's like what happens if you went from Avengers 1 Loki straight to Thor Ragnarok Loki, and you just stretch that out to its natural understanding. And that's basically what it is.
But speaking of shows who only have one season, because Loki, I believe it's a must watch if you love Marvel. Go ahead and get that under your belt. For people who don't love Marvel so much, it's not a must watch. You don't have to watch it. It's a good show. It wraps up some stories for us. It has a lot of callbacks, has a lot of Easter eggs, but nothing major. So I think Loki's a must watch for all Marvel fans. Definitely if you're a fan of Marvel, even maybe some comic book enthusiasts who love Marvel and DC. So go check out Loki every Wednesday. Today, this Wednesday of this week will be the last episode. Yes. But speaking of shows that had one season, MCU is not only ones who have one season. HBO Max has hit us in the jugular and has torn my heart out. Which one is it? Nope, not that one. Where's that? Yeah, there we go. HBO Max has torn my heart out. QMG also was a fan of this show that just got canceled, which is Lovecraft Country. And Lovecraft Country was canceled, but hopefully,
well, let's use the proper nomenclature. It's not canceled because Misha can still take, it's her show, so
she can take it anywhere.
She can take it anyway,
and that's what we're gonna get into, because we definitely want to hashtag bring back Lovecraft at some point.
No, it's not
something, whatever the hashtag is.
It's hashtag restore the Lovecraft verse. That's what we'll be pushing.
Factual.
And I still haven't finished the season because I was kind of hoping that we would get a season 2 announcement so I can go straight into the second season after watching the first season in full. And I mean, from what I've seen, it's an excellent show.
Amazing.
It's an excellent show. There are problems with it that are addressed by the proper people in the respective communities.
I haven't really done any research or reviews or anything. What were some of those?
I mean, it's there's the way that they presented, the LGBT community, black community as well.
Could you explain to me how they ffelt about that? Because I thought it was due to the time frame of society.
I will unfortunately not, because that is not my
fact.
That's not my.
We might have to get somebody on the show, because I definitely want to have a discussion about that.
I mean, I would rather. I mean, to hear how they felt on it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's how they felt, and like I said, it's been addressed and talked ad nauseum since the show came out and whatnot. But other than those things, it was real good. It was it was really, really good. And I'm going to have to watch it now and be super sad, even though my homie Aaron, shout outs to him, shout outs to big homie Mike.
Shout out Big A.
And they have their own podcast, Love to Lovecraft and Back. And all of their reviews are up on YouTube, their YouTube channel. So definitely check them out. And I liked it. I loved it, really. And I am bummed out that they canceled it. They decided not to go through with season 2, however you want to say it, especially considering all of the cast members had literally had time on put time away on their busy schedules to come back and do it. And because they were so sure, and because
they already had the script wrote up and everything.
They
were literally ready to start filming.
Yeah, and I don't have too much to say on it because I haven't finished it, and there's still spoilers I'm trying to avoid. but all I'll say is this: considering all of the shit WB has done to creatives of color and actors of color in their fold with their films and television projects, and considering how they were damn near jumping out of their pants to greenlight the Confederate show by the Game of Thrones dudes shortly after their atrocious ending to Game of Thrones, they definitely need to clean house, because it's not looking good. And to cancel a show that was so forward thinking with black concepts and
not only critically acclaimed as well. So.
I mean, that's a given. And the fact that they chose to creatively, as far as they're concerned on their platform, kill it, especially considering how, taking the critical stuff aside, how big of a hit it was on both the traditional HBO and then on HBO Max as well. I gotta say, it's hopefully Netflix or Amazon picks it up and they
Stars, Netflix, Amazon.
Not the traditional shows, not the traditional. Put that straight on streaming because
somebody's gonna pick it up because it's too good to pass up.
I hope so.
I don't know what HBO was thinking. I don't have any inclination why they would do that. The show was outstanding. The show is great. The first 4 to 5 episodes are literally different genres in sci-fi and horror. Like,
yes,
they're so good, and they tailor to a style that is almost unseen with an all black cast. Of course, obviously, we're gonna roll with the black cast, but just the acting is on point. The action is amazing. The story is great. There's no point to me when I watched it. There was no lackluster, like, cheesy scenes or lame. There was none of that. Everything meant something. Everything had weight to it. Everything had a impeccable shooting, impeccable acting. Everything was just really good on Lovecraft Country. And to see those characters, like, I was even kind of pissed to find out that they didn't start shooting yet or started the writing process yet after season 1, because I was like, dang, now I gotta wait till 2023 for it to come out. Now we might be waiting till late 2024 to early 2025 before we actually get a season 2. And that sometimes I hate that due to the aging of characters and aging of actors. But hopefully we get a good season. If it comes, I'm almost 50% positive that somebody's going to pick up Lovecraft Country because it's too good not to. Yeah. And it's data critical, like it was critically acclaimed. So we'll see it come back from somebody, but it was a travesty that HBO did that. Are there any in the comments? Let us know any shows that y'all love that got canceled that y'all feel early, because another show of mine, Good Girls, just got canceled for its next season that was supposed to come out, and I was really enjoying it. But QMG, got a couple shows that you weren't into that got canceled?
No.
Or all your shows made it to the end?
I don't even watch shows like that anymore. So it's like whatever catches my fancy or is recommended and I remember to watch it, then I do. But it's not like, most of the shows I watch are already out or are anthologies where it's not even like it's either going to continue or they're going to let you know when it's an end point. So like I said, Good Girls, I really have, me and my wife have been watching it and really enjoying that, and it's got canceled. And then I hear literally a week later Lovecraft is not coming back to HBO. It was like 2 gut punches, because like you get invested in these shows and invested in these characters only to have it ripped right from under you. It sucks. But let us know in the comments any shows that y'all been tuning into that did not make it. I definitely want to hear it. Maybe we could talk about some of them. Maybe we could try to see if we can get some revivals like Dexter season 9, episode season 10 coming out, season 9 or 10, one of them where they're getting a proper send off, where he's not a guy in a boat dying. But so before we move forward, we definitely have to talk about the title. What if? What if was a fifth, everybody be drunk, QMG? But this what if, do you feel like it's gonna change a lot of things where you're actually gonna get some, what's the word I'm looking for? You're gonna actually get some type of enjoyment, some closure to certain stories. Maybe they could be better than the stories that were originally presented in an MCU. No, because they're just doing completely original things, so there's not gonna be anything like that. No, being quite honest with you, after sitting and thinking about it, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this looks cool. But after sitting and thinking on it, I don't think so.
For everybody who doesn't know, the Disney Plus is doing a What If series for Marvel. If you're not familiar with the What If comic books, is just retellings in a different completely different way of your favorite beloved characters. Like, what if, for example, one of the episodes will be what if Peggy Carter had the super soldier serum and became Captain America? Well, Captain Britain,
which already has folks forgetting that we have a black Captain America, or that he has any substance, because they're like, this is my captain. Then them folks didn't waste no time waiting for a white woman to be Captain America. They didn't. They didn't.
Or another one. Well, we could talk about this one, and don't even and say it because I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna be like, of course they make the black guy this character the most hated character.
No,
But
I wasn't. I wasn't going to talk about
you.
Black Panther being Star-Lord.
Yes, they have what if Black Panther was a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, we knew about that. Like,
what if he was Star-Lord?
That was one of the first things they announced. So.
And Chadwick Boseman is playing, reprising his role.
That his last time as Star-Lord.
Yeah,
and so it's good. I'm glad that people who are major fans of Chad, myself included, get to see him in a performance one last time. And so there's not really too much I can say about that. I just and I don't want to be too mean about it.
You don't want to shit on it.
I do feel like I want to get this out now. Is that the what if stuff in Marvel is generally bad because it's literally always what if this one thing happens and it ends with people everyone dying or the world blows up. There's actual and more importantly, as the years have gone on, a lot of modern Marvel books are literally just what ifs of original things anyway. So a lot of that
Marvel zombies,
a lot of that stuff is just loses it. And with the MCU, I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it regardless. With the exception of the Black Panther one, which is so just out of the world, like out of left field in terms of the concept and everything, and that's like really the truest form of the truest. I was gonna say, obviously, I think the MCU's version is gonna have like their own, like obviously they're gonna have like some Marvel zombies we seen it, but aren't they gonna have their own like created from Disney Plus, like for Disney, like but they're gonna be a lot like they've already done the what if Steve Rogers wasn't Captain America thing to death. They really have. What if it was somebody else? What if he never got the serum? What if Ben Parker couldn't save him and Ben Parker became Iron Man? Like that stuff has been done to death. So I'm not really interested about it. Marvel Zombies, again, something that's been done to death, and it's just in the MCU, meaning that there's going to be less significant Marvel Zombies than in the comics, because
I think Marvel Zombies comics was pretty cool though. Like they were pretty turned.
Yeah. But hey, my point is that the hook of Marvel Zombies is how many Marvel heroes are zombies, and in the MCU, there's really not that many Marvel heroes that people know and love to begin with. Yeah. So it's just gonna be like what we're gonna see, like all like what, because it's about Natasha being that's the Ultron one. So I don't even know who's it's Bucky. Bucky is going to be the Winter Soldier is going to be the
he's gonna be going crazy.
Well, he's gonna kill.
Well, I was gonna say how gruesome can they get?
I mean, it's not about gruesome. It's about the story and if it's going to be substantial. And if you're gonna, if a Marvel Zombies with 15% of the Marvel universe is going to be worth watching, because and you know they got the Spider-Man. Well, apparently it's what if Spider-Man was Doctor Strange, which just sounds fucking stupid to me.
Well, they had Into the Spider-Verse when he had the cape.
That's a cape, not that wasn't Doctor Strange's.
Well, cape. I was gonna say that he looked very similar when they showed him to the one that was in Spider-Verse with that cloak.
Nah,
it was like the same type of cloak.
No, that was just a cape. But my point is that it's just like who cares if Spider-Man was Doctor Strange? First of all, where's even the correlation?
Sorcerer Supreme Spider-Man.
Who cares if Spider-Man is Doctor Strange?
Okay, because my thing is because we're acting like there's never been instances where you were pitched the idea and it didn't sound like it would be intriguing until it was executed.
You do know that it's very little examples of that being the case,
but it has happened.
And
so I'm saying, who's to say that you're not gonna like some of these crazy ass ideas?
You know, first of all, I really hate when people say, "Well, what if you know?" It's not about what if.
It is about.
No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about when people like stuff. Like, don't try to sit there and try to force somebody to like stuff. No, I'm not trying to force you to
like nothing. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying you are, but I'm like I'm saying it's stupid because it doesn't matter if I watch it or not. I think it's stupid, and people need to stop trying to convince themselves that if somebody come to you and say, what if you'll like it? No, if you don't like it now, then you shouldn't have to, unless we're talking about people, and people are the only instance, unless they're Nazis or racist or misogynistic or transphobic.
That's a whole lot of groups.
Well, they're bad groups, so fuck them. But unless you fall into that group of individuals, like if you're a normal functioning person and you don't like saying, "Oh, I don't like pineapple on pizza," then that's cool.
Whoa.
Let them folks not like pineapple on pizza. If they don't like frozen yogurt, let them not like frozen yogurt.
So, does pineapple go on pizza? Well, I know your answer because I've seen you eat pineapples on pizza.
Yes, it's got a sweet taste to it, and it depends on who make it. But
so tacos or yams?
Both. But tacos and yams is what he said.
Tacos or yams, baby.
But at the end of the day, like the real one that just really is a cool concept and it stands out is Black Panther being in the Guardians of the Galaxy, because they're even showing that they're gonna have Thor and like all like the Gamora one and Thor one are all connected, so it's gonna culminate in this one big cool thing. And so that's awesome. That's awesome.
I wasn't even excited about him being Star-Lord. I'm excited about Chadwick, but that was probably my least excited episode.
But I'm saying just from a creative standpoint, because again, as I've said previously, Star-Lord is just a white guy in space. What happens when you have an actual, fully functioning, fleshed out three-dimensional character who is familiar with cool stuff?
I like Star-Lord, so
okay. What I'm getting at, long story short, before I throw it to Q and we wrap it up, is that what if, unless they do some shit, unless they do some unless they got something crazy up their sleeve, it's gonna be mid.
Do you think that after you brought this up, do you think that maybe that big arcing story is probably the only ones that they did say themselves? Now all the self-contained ones will be ones that we know.
No,
like the ones that already have been done in the What If comic books.
No, because I'll say that it looks like that the Killmonger one and the Loki one. If that's not the same episode, it's going to be at least that'll be an example of that, but that's only if that's not the same episode. It very well could be.
So let's just lay all the cards off on the table, because we've been talking about a lot of Marvel stuff, because Marvel has been kind of out there for the last couple of years, actually. But you've been seeming pretty like not very excited. You're not. Is Marvel not? What is Marvel not doing for you lately? What?
It's not trying. I've said this and it hasn't changed. It's just they don't try for my liking. It's not something I can respect anymore in the realm of that. That's why I liked WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier so much, because with WandaVision they tried really hard for like not as hard as I've seen other Marvel problems. Not like with that, especially with that concept. They didn't like Legion is still the best version of that concept Marvel of a Marvel property. But even then, WandaVision did a lot of, in my opinion, cool stuff, and it worked really at a not just a Marvel level, but at a high level of comic stuff. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I know a lot of people it's divisive, especially when it comes to Black comic fans, because of how they felt Sam handled certain situations, but I still liked it because
I could not to cut you off. I'm sorry, but before I lose that train of thought on that, it was speaking on your part. It's also divisive the other way around, because I've heard and actually know some people who may be ignorant and
who cares if you rather tell me who don't like Sam as Captain America.
No, that's not what I was finna say. See, look, what happened when you assume you make an ass out of you and me? No, just but no, they are maybe ignorant and saying that they didn't like the black the racial stuff being forced down there.
So my point still stands.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So that was my point.
No, that's fact. That's factual. That's factual. Right. That's factual. But I'm just saying it's both ways. Divisive as people not liking Black Captain America, but also ignorant,
but only one of those are a valid divisiveness. Only one of them is actually something you can form a conversation around and come to a better understanding of both people's sides.
Definitely.
The folks just ignorant of that
they want to be blind to the plights of
fuck them
minority. Definitely,
fuck them. We don't even care about. They really don't even technically have an opinion. They're just talking nonsense. That's my point. Is that with those two shows, their level of trying were different, but they still tried enough for me to be like, okay, I can rock with this. Loki again didn't really try, and it's not really trying unless they unless we do see Kang, unless that's
just gonna make everything good because Kang come out.
Absolutely not. I will, however, say I'm glad that they did this and they just didn't, pull out some third thing that really wasn't attached to anything. If they do pull out Kang 2 years before him being the main villain in Ant-Man, then that'd be dope. But yeah, with What If,
do you think Ghost is ever gonna come back?
Who?
Ant-Man?
I don't know.
People actually like that character.
That is true, but I don't know if they'll do that because they don't traditionally do that.
Because
long and short of it, guys, I've been prattling on. Is with MCU, they're not trying, and therefore I'm not enthused. And if this Black Widow is anything like I've been hearing,
we haven't watched it yet. We'll watch it tomorrow.
If it's anything like I think it is, well, not even like I think, like I've been told it is. Well, good thing y'all won't see me tomorrow on Keep It G.
Oh, that is wild, bro. That is wild.
Yep, but you go ahead.
Yeah, so it's definitely. Hey, little one, what are you doing? Kimberly Faye. I guess before the episode over. Come on, dude.
Yeah, let's just sign it out.
Yeah, I'll tell you how.
In any case,
say hey.
Say hey, baby.
Say hey. Oh, you eating good, ain't it? You had man week. Oh. So with that being said,
yes,
before we sign on out QMG, I want you to go ahead and say, is there any, you got something you want to say? Is there anybody you want to give shout outs to?
Just the More Diversity crew, shout outs to them. We live every Wednesday, and my next episode for the channel Quniverse is going to be dropping tomorrow as well. The Mess every Thursday. Open mic and MD News Friday, MD Gaming every Saturday. Y'all already know how it is. Love y'all, beautiful folks over there.
Facts. Why I do this, you hold her. Thank you, sir. So yeah, you already know here tomorrow. You already know we do Keep It G, where every week me and my crew D-Man need to keep our eyes and ears to the streets for everything geek. You already know we're gonna be talking about some Fear Street, because I've really been enjoying Fear Street. I watched 1994 and I watched 1978. And episode 3 comes out. Movie 3 comes out on the 16th, so I'm gonna be ready for that. And I might talk a little bit about that. But other than that, you already know. Go to YouTube, Into the Quniverse, give us a subscribe,
a comment.
Yes, everything. It'll have us very much hype and much appreciated. And other than that, we definitely will be back next week. We're gonna have some great stuff to talk to you guys about. We're gonna have Loki, the end of Loki. Finally, we're gonna get to know who is behind all of this and what is going on. Is it Kang like everybody wants it to be, or is it somebody else? So we'll find out. Zora, stop messing with my desk. You so girl. You so witty, I swear. But thank y'all for tuning in. This was Into the Quniverse. I'm Q.
And I'm QMG.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all already know we got to turn up a little bit, get on up out of here. Give it to everybody. Let's go. Give it. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Peace.
I'm trying to pass her to you.